The last brushstroke dried at midnight, but by morning, a single tear glistened on her painted cheek, fresh, wet, impossible. Leo had spent 3 weeks on this portrait for the regional art competition. A woman he'd never met, born entirely from his imagination. Dark eyes, pale skin, black hair cascading over bare shoulders. She looked almost alive under the studio lights, her gaze fixed on some distant sorrow only she could see. But every morning, without fail, a tear appeared on her left cheek. Not a crack in the varnish, not condensation, a real tear, painted in glossy acrylic, still slightly wet to the touch. The first time, Leo thought he'd forgotten it. Maybe he'd added it half asleep, too exhausted to remember. He wiped it away with turpentine, blended the skin tone back to smoothness. The next morning, it returned. Same place, same shape, same impossible wetness. He checked the locks, the windows, the skylight above his cramped Parisian studio. Everything sealed. He was alone. He had to be. On the 4th day, Leo repainted her entire face. He worked through the night, erasing every trace of the tear, rebuilding her cheek from scratch. By dawn, she looked perfect again, untouched. He collapsed onto his cot, brushes still in hand. When he woke at noon, the tear was back, larger this time, trailing down to her jaw. Panic crept in like cold water. He removed the canvas from its frame, thinking something underneath might be seeping through. Nothing, just raw wood and metal brackets. He bought a new frame, stretched the canvas tighter. The tear appeared again the next morning. Leo stopped sleeping. He sat in a chair facing the painting, staring at her for hours, waiting to catch the moment it happened. His eyes burned, his coffee went cold, but the woman never changed. Not a flicker, not a shift. Only when he blinked, when he looked away for just a second, the tear would be there, mocking him. His friend Matthew suggested it was stress. Too much caffeine, not enough rest. Leo wanted to believe him, but Matthew hadn't seen the way the tear caught the light, hadn't touched its wetness, hadn't felt the strange warmth radiating from the canvas late at night. On the 10th day, Leo made a decision. He ordered a small wireless camera online, the kind used for home security. He mounted it on the opposite wall, angled perfectly at the painting. If something was happening while he slept, he would finally see it. That night, he locked the studio door from the inside, placed the key under his pillow, and forced himself to lie down. His phone was charging on the floor, connected to the camera's app. He set it to record continuously. Every movement, every shadow, every breath. Sleep came reluctantly, shallow and fractured. He dreamed of hands, pale slender fingers dipping into paint, tracing lines across a canvas that stretched into infinity. A voice whispered his name, soft as silk, cold as bone. He woke to gray morning light filtering through the skylight. His heart hammered as he grabbed his phone, hands shaking. The recording had run all night. 6 hours of footage. He skipped to midnight. Nothing. 1 a.m. Still nothing. Then, at 3:14 a.m., the camera caught it. A hand appeared in the frame. Just a hand. No arm, no body. It floated into view from the right side of the canvas, fingers already wet with paint. It moved slowly, deliberately, tracing a perfect tear from the corner of the woman's eye down to her jaw. Leo's breath stopped. He rewound it, watched again. The hand was pale, almost translucent in the low light. It worked with eerie precision, adding highlights, shadows, depth. Then it withdrew, vanishing beyond the edge of the frame. But here was the impossible part. The canvas itself was empty in the recording. No woman, no portrait, just blank, stretched linen. The hand painted on nothing. Yet when Leo looked up at the actual painting now, the tear was there, fresh, glistening. His stomach twisted. He checked the rest of the footage. At 5:30 a.m., just before dawn, something else happened. The camera's angle shifted slightly, as if someone had bumped the wall. For 3 seconds, the lens captured a reflection in the studio's window. A figure standing behind the easel, tall, thin, facing away. Leo paused the video, zoomed in. The figure wore a long dark dress, black hair spilled down its back. The same hair as the woman in the painting. He dropped the phone. It clattered against the floorboards, screen still glowing. He turned slowly toward the portrait, feeling the weight of her gaze before he even looked. Her eyes were different. Not in shape or color, but in direction. Before, she'd been staring past him, lost in her painted sorrow. Now, her gaze was fixed directly on him, focused, aware. Leo stumbled backward, knocking over his chair. The portrait didn't move, but he could feel it watching, tracking. He grabbed his jacket, his keys, and bolted for the door. The lock stuck. His fingers fumbled, slick with sweat. Behind him, he heard something, a soft sound, like fabric brushing against canvas. He didn't look back. He wrenched the door open and ran. For 2 days, Leo stayed at Matthew's apartment, sleeping on the couch, refusing to explain. Matthew asked questions. Leo ignored them, but the competition deadline loomed. 3 days left. The portrait was his only entry, his best work. He couldn't abandon it. On the 3rd night, he returned to the studio. The streetlights cast long shadows through the windows. Everything looked normal, quiet. The painting stood on its easel, draped with a white sheet. He'd covered it before he left, though he didn't remember doing so. Leo pulled the sheet away slowly. The woman stared back at him. No tear this time, just those dark, knowing eyes. He set up his palette, his brushes. If he couldn't stop the tears, he'd paint over them. Change her face entirely. Make her someone else. He dipped his brush in titanium white and reached toward the canvas. The moment the bristles touched her cheek, the lights went out. Every bulb, every lamp. The studio plunged into total darkness. Leo froze. His pulse roared in his ears. He heard breathing, not his own. Slow, steady, coming from the direction of the easel. Then, a whisper. Soft, female. Close enough to feel against his neck. "Why did you paint me sad?" His knees buckled. The brush fell from his hand. He groped for his phone, for light, for anything. His fingers found the flashlight app. The screen blazed white. He aimed it at the easel. The painting was gone. The canvas was blank, pure white, untouched. Behind him, footsteps, bare feet on wood. He spun around. She stood in the corner, half hidden in shadow. The woman from the portrait. Real, solid. Her black dress hung loose around her thin frame. Her dark eyes gleamed in the phone's light. "You gave me life," she said, her voice like distant wind. "But you made me cry. Every stroke, every shade. You painted grief into my bones. Why?" Leo's voice cracked. I didn't mean." Every night, I tried to fix it. One tear at a time. To show you. To make you see." She stepped closer. Her skin was too pale, too smooth, like porcelain. "But you kept erasing me, painting over me, trapping me. I'm sorry." The words felt hollow, useless. She tilted her head, studying him. "Do you know what it's like to exist only in sorrow? To be born from someone's idea of beauty mixed with pain?" Leo backed toward the door. His hand found the knob, locked. He didn't remember locking it. The woman raised her hand. In the phone's light, he saw paint smeared across her fingers. Fresh, acrylic, midnight blue, crimson, titanium white. She'd been painting herself, changing herself, trying to rewrite what he'd created. "I don't want to be sad anymore," she whispered. The lights flickered back on. Leo blinked against the sudden brightness. The woman was gone. The studio was empty, but the canvas was no longer blank. She was there again, in the portrait. Only now, she was smiling. A small, strange smile that didn't reach her eyes. And her gaze followed him as he stumbled toward the door. Followed him as he unlocked it. Followed him as he fled into the cold Parisian night. The next morning, Leo returned with Matthew. They found the studio exactly as he'd left it. The painting stood on the easel, the woman's smile still unsettling, still wrong. Matthew saw nothing unusual, just a portrait, just paint and canvas. But when Leo looked closely, he noticed something new. In the background of the painting, barely visible in the shadows behind the woman, was a figure, small, indistinct, a man holding a brush. He never submitted the painting to the competition. He tried to destroy it, slashing the canvas with a palette knife. But every morning, it repaired itself. The cuts vanished. The woman remained, smiling, watching. Eventually, Leo moved out of the studio, left the painting behind, locked the door, and never returned. He heard later that the building's owner found the portrait and donated it to a small gallery in Montmartre. It hangs there now, in a dim corner, behind velvet ropes. Visitors say the woman's expression changes depending on who's looking. Some see sorrow, others see rage. A few claim she's weeping, but the gallery staff insist the painting never changes. It's just oil and canvas, nothing more. Still, they've installed a camera in that corner, just in case. And late at night, when the gallery is empty and the lights are low, the footage sometimes catches something strange. A hand, pale and slender, reaching out from the canvas, painting tears on the glass that protects it. The tears are still there in the morning, fresh, wet, impossible. If this story still echoes in your mind, there are darker tales waiting in the shadows. Subscribe and keep the light on, because some paintings never stop watching, and some tears never stop falling.